Now that we're getting into tax filing season and we have the new withholding tables from the Trump Republican tax plan enacted and sort of factored in, I guess we would say, to people's paychecks, there's a couple different tax related issues I want to talk about with you. I recently met with our accountant to finalize the David Pakman show taxes, and he said in no uncertain terms, David, I know you're against the tax overhaul politically, but it's very good for your business because of the changes that it makes to pass through income as well as a few other changes. And I recognize that. And we were told it's going to be good not just for businesses, but also for most people. But we have a new Politico Morning Consult poll out now, which finds that more than half of all working voters haven't seen an increase in their paychecks. And here at the David Pakman Show, we have everybody here is getting a little bit more money in their checks every couple of weeks. But anecdotal evidence is anecdotal, and only 37% of employed voters have seen their pay increase based on the new withholding tables. And what's interesting is that Republicans were way more likely to report higher paychecks than Democrats, meaning someone is lying, and it's probably both Republicans and some Democrats lying about the impact of the tax overhaul on their paychecks. But regardless, we know for sure who is getting a major tax windfall, even though they already paid zero federal taxes in 2017. And that is a huge corporation called Amazon. Because of a strategy that Amazon has been employing for a long time, Amazon reported about $5.5 billion in profits last year and paid zero federal taxes. Now, you might be wondering, how is that possible? And the reason is that it's a combination of tax credits and tax breaks for executive stock options, which zeroed out their federal taxes for last year. And over the last 5 years, Amazon paid an effective federal income tax rate of just 11.4%. But none of that is the news, right? That all predates the Trump tax bill. The news is that because of the tax overhaul, Amazon is going to get a one-time $789 million tax break. This isn't, the David Pakman Show is not an accounting show. But basically, Amazon had deferred some tax liability from previous years, and now they can get a 40% discount on that tax liability from 35% to 21%, which will work out to saving them about $789 million. Nice little spring bonus, right? Close to $1 billion extra dollars in your pocket that you don't have to pay out. So yeah, not nearly everyone is seeing more money in their paychecks, but we are seeing hundreds of millions of dollars in tax breaks for major companies. And then remember all those Republicans that said, look, this company is giving raises because of the tax cuts, and that company is going to give a bonus because of the tax cuts. It is all a ruse. What do I mean it's a ruse? Well, some of the companies that announced bonuses also laid off a ton of employees, and AT&T is an example of that. Other companies that announce bonuses are, after all, giving one-time bonuses when they're going to get years and years and years of tax benefits. So it's mostly PR, and most of the money that they save is going to go to executives and shareholders, as we predicted and as we knew would happen. And then some of the companies, I've gotten emails from people who said, David, my company is foregoing raises this year because they're saying, hey, you're already getting a little more money in your paycheck because of the changes to the tax code. So we're not going to give a raise because your raise was basically the new tax plan.
And remember, the personal tax cuts are set to expire after
Yes.
2025, whereas the corporate tax cuts are going to keep in place.
That's right.
So this is a big handout to corporations.
It's
they
a
may
huge
give
handout.
people scraps to keep them, satisfied, but it's not enough.
Absolutely. And the bigger picture is that when you hear about a few dozen companies that are giving bonuses or raises or whatever, every corporation got the same tax cuts. And we've heard that a few dozen are giving raises or bonuses. This is 0.00, I don't know how many zeros, 0.01% of all companies. And this is where people get tricked, right? A lot of economics is BS. True, sort of rational neoclassical economics, econometrics. There's a lot of crap in the field of economics. But the part that's not crap is that it tells us big picture what happens when a tax cut disproportionately goes to the rich and corporations. And what happens is that it lines the pockets of people that don't need the money. It doesn't stimulate the economy in a meaningful way. And to the extent that we care about the deficit, and different people care about the deficit differently, some of it depends on the party of the person in the White House, it increases the deficit and therefore the debt. So the people who saw a little extra money, I hate to tell you, Pat, you're probably getting screwed anyway, because number one, it's temporary. Number two, the gas tax might have to go up. Well, actually, you have no car, so I guess that one doesn't really affect you. Healthcare costs are likely going to keep going up. Actually, you're young enough to be on your parents' health insurance, so that one doesn't affect you either. So I guess Pat's going to be okay. But a lot of people who are seeing a little bit of extra money in their paychecks are going to get screwed elsewhere. And meanwhile, the corporate tax cuts are permanent. Is this the change people wanted when they voted for Donald Trump? Or is it more bamboozling from Donald Trump and from supply side economics? You tell me, but that's the early, some of the early results of this massive overhaul that we've seen to our tax code. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.